Alright guys, welcome to class. This is our final chapter review that we're going to do for chapter 2, and after this we're actually going to be moving on to chapter 3, which is actually functions. And it's going to be really fun. So let's go ahead and just speed through this review very quick. So for A, 50, we're going to supposed to simplify that so it can be it can be broken down into 25 too. So we don't need to know what we all know what 20 square root 25 is. It's just 5 2. And B can be broken down into 4 times 11, so that's going to be 2, 11, and then A, B, C. C is root 80. So for those, I personally, I like to break it down this way. So I will first take out a 4, so that will become 220, and then I look at this, I can be like, oh look, I can break another 4 out of this, so that's going to be like 2, 4, 5. Because usually I don't say this because I know. Well, usually we can't just directly look at it and be like, oh look, this can be broken down into 16 times 5. Some of us just can't do that. I can do that. I know many of you guys can't do that. So don't worry. An extra step means nothing. D, and then we have 7 5, so that's root 35. And then we can't simplify this any further. E, that is 218. And now we can actually simplify this further. We can take out a 9, so that becomes 6 root 2. And F, for that, for 72, we can take out a what? 16? 16 times, does that work? No. Okay, we can take out a 4. So if we take out a 4, that's going to give us, what? 20, 32, 18. So we're going to take out a 4, so 218. We can take out another 3, so 6 root 2 over root 6, basically. And then G, it's 15 root 20, which becomes, we take out the 4, so it becomes 230 root 5. And then H, that's basically what, we have to somehow do something to this, so we're going to take out a 4, 2 root 10 over 2, common factor becomes 4 minus root 10. And that is our answer for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Let's go ahead and get on to do 2. This is involving complex numbers. That's basically root 30, so negative 1, that's I, right? So I, and 36, root 36, that's just 6. And the real part first, and then the imaginary number, so 6I. B, it's negative. We're going to leave the negative first, so I, and then 48 can be broken down into 16 times 3, right? So we have 4 root 3, I times 4 root 3. So overall we'll have negative 4 root 3I. And then C, 5 times 9I squared being negative 1. So this is going to be negative 9. So this is going to give us negative 45. D, 6 minus I6. So basically this is going to become 6 minus 6I. 6 minus 6I. You can common factor, take out the 6, be like 1 minus I, but it depends on you, really. It's not, it's preferences, I guess. Then E, we do 5 plus square root of negative 18, so we take out the I first. So now we have square root 18. How do we simplify that? That's going to be 3 root 2. So this is going to be 5 plus 3 root 2I. And then finally we have F. So 12 minus I, and then that's what, 3 times, so 3 root 3, sorry, not 9, 3 root 3 over 3. And then we can common factor, so it'll be like this, and then we take out this part. So we will have 4 minus root 3I, and that's our final answer. because we common factor the 3 out. And that is 2. If you had any questions that you want me to explain, make sure to comment down below or write me an email. And 3, find the maximum or minimum value. That was just completing the square. I'll just complete the square real quick. So remember, we're going to factor the first 2 terms. So that's going to be this plus what? Plus 2x, right? Plus 2x. And now we're like divide that by 2, which is 1, and then square that plus 1 plus 1. And then minus 1, that's going to be minus 1 in here in the bracket, but to get it out of the bracket, we'll have to multiply by -4, so it's going to be plus 4 out of the bracket, so plus 4. And then originally there was another term, which was plus 5, so plus 5. So right here, we will have -4x plus 1 squared plus 9, our x value. So the vertex is going to equal to -1 and 9, so this is our uh, this is our maximum because we open downwards because of the negative value on the x squared. Now let's look at the second one. Y equals x squared minus 7x plus 2. You can just directly complete the square, so squared minus 7x. Now what do we do here? We're going to plus, so 7, we're going to do 14 over 2 instead. So we divide that by 2, 14 over 4, and we square root that. That's going to be 14 times the square root of 14 is, let me think, 196 over, what is it? 196 over, so we do 14 over 2, square that, 4, right? And then we minus 196 over 4. This is going to go ahead and give us x. What's half of 14 over 2? 14 over, oh wait, sorry, this is 16 here. Sorry. Forgot about that. 16 here minus 196 over 16. So this is going to be x minus 14 over 4 squared minus 196 over 16. You can actually reduce this. I just don't want to do that. Well, you have to do that on your test, but I don't want to do that because my calculator is pretty dumb. Not fun. And so our value is just 14 over 4 negative 196 over 16. Let's go ahead and do 3, which is going to be even more decimals. So we factor out a -2 out of this, and then we have x squared minus 5 over 2x plus 5. So now we do that, so we divide that even further, so that's going to be -5 over 4. We square that, that is going to be plus 25 over 16, and then we minus 25 over 16. To get it out, we have to do 50 over 16, which is, and then we reduce it by 2, so 25 over 8. So plus 25 over 8 plus 5. And this is going to go ahead and give us -2x squared minus 5 over 4 squared plus 40 plus 25, that's 65 over 8. 65 over 8, and this is our vertex, so 5 over 4 and the 65 over 8. You should remember most of these from grade 10. If you don't, go back to grade 10. I'm sorry, that was a little mean, but you should review your lessons, review the tests that you had in grade 10 and all of that. So by completing the square, this is just doing the completing the square. I'm not going to do that. You're going to do that, complete the square. And then I'm going to do a little bit factoring for you guys, because I feel like we need to do that. So 2x squared minus 7x plus 4 equals 0. So how do we do this? Well, we look at crisscross 1, 2. And then that can be 1, 4 or 1, 2. In this case, we would assume it's 1, 4 because, okay, no. Yeah, we will have to do 1, 4. So we're gonna have to think, how do we do it with -1 and -4. That is a little weird. Factoring. Is this factorable? 1, 2, and 4, 4. 1, 2, and 1, 4. We could do with -8, but we have to plus 1, so. Oh, wait. Wow. Wow, that I just spotted a mistake because I couldn't solve it. Okay, so 1, 2. Now this makes sense. So we will do -8 plus 1. So this is going to be like x minus 8, 2x plus 1 equals 0. And therefore our x values is x equals to 8 and plus 1, so -1/2. And that is our x values. And then the other factor in question was 3x squared plus 7x minus 6 equals 0. So I would assume you would be able to move everything on one side. You would know that. So -6, we have an addition of a value and then minus some value. So 2, 3. So we could do 9 minus 2. Sure, why not? So we are going to go ahead and be like, let's do 3 and -2. So x plus 3, 3x minus 2. So overall that will be 3x squared minus 2x plus 9x, 7x, and then minus 6. Okay, that works. So x is equal to -3 and 2/3. So basically we move the 2 to the other side. So like 3x equal to 2 and then x equals to 2/3. That is how you solve for x. I'm doing this really fast because I want you guys to review for grade 10. These are just grade 10 stuff. There's no need to do this. Now let's actually quadratic formula. I'm sorry. I don't want to be plugging in formulas here in an actual lesson. That will be wasting my time. That will also be wasting your time. I'm sure for those that's actually paying for these at the academy, your parents wouldn't be really happy with this. So we're gonna go ahead and skip that part and let's go ahead and do the picture frame. Picture frame measure 10 by 8. Sorry. Okay, so we have a diagram here, so I'm not gonna draw because I'm not good at drawing. And I'm drawing on a laptop, even worse. So mean to be surrounded by a mat. The width of the mat is same on all sides. The area of the mat is equal to the area of the picture. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, so I guess the area of the picture is 10 times 8, which is 80. So this is the area of the picture, and the area of the mat. So 80 is supposed to equal to 8 plus x times 8 plus 2x times 10 plus 2x. So 8 plus 2x times 10 plus 2x. And after that, this is the entire area of the picture. We have to minus 80. Okay, so we will move it to this side. Move the 80 onto this side. 160. 160 is equal to, we expand this, 80 plus 16x plus 20x plus 36x and plus 4x squared. Move everything on one side. 4x squared plus 36x minus 80 equals 0. Common factor 4x squared plus, what is this, 12x minus 20. So this is just plus 10 plus, wait a minute. Did I do something wrong? Huh. If this is plus 20, it made sense. But this isn't. Okay, so that's a little weird. So I thought about it. So we have a negative 80, minus 80 here. So this is a full area, and then minus 80 here. So we shouldn't have a problem with this. So what is the problem here now? It's equal to 80 on that side. So Are we missing an 80? Or what's this? Because if we had an 80 here... Okay, you know what? We're gonna leave this area here because we're gonna leave this one here because I'm not quite sure about it. The width of the mat. Yeah, we're gonna leave this question here because I don't believe this should be like this. There might be a part of mistakes in my solution, so if you guys notice it, please point it out, but I don't know. So okay, let's go ahead and do 9. State 3 different methods for solving a quadratic. Give an example of each. Explain why each equation is best suited to the method chosen. Okay, so we learned right now complete the square. Complete square. We learned factoring, and we learned formula. So formula is usually used for complex ones where they are really difficult. So you're not able to factor it. It has some decimals value, and you're like, oh, dude, this has got to be calculator work. This is so stressful. Factoring is when you have some easy numbers or simple trinomials or a little complex trinomials, but usually we don't want to use factor for like super big numbers, like 4000x. That is so hard because 4000 have so many factors, so many different things that can add up and multiply to 4,000. So usually we use factor for small numbers, formula for large numbers, and complete the square. We only use it when we want to know the vertex, basically the maximum or minimum. We don't want to use the completing the square when we're solving for the x-intercept, simply because it's a waste of time, and you will have to actually set it equal to 0 or use a kind of a variation of completing the square. So we studied 2.4 and 2.5. We're going to go ahead and answer 11 to 15. So simplifying this, basically we're going to simplify the radical first. So 48 can be broken down into what? 16 times... Is that 16.3? Why am I self-doubting me? Why am I self-doubting on the easiest question? 4 root 3 minus 3 root 3 plus what is this? 2 root 3? Yeah. So remember, we can only add them together if their radical part is the same, which they are in this case. So we have 1 plus 2, 3 root 3. That is our final answer. So the hardest part of this is more simplifying than actually calculating because it's just grade 1 math. And then 3 root 40, we can take out a 4. So that's going to be 2 root 10. So that's going to be 6 root 10 because we have to multiply the 2 that we take out by the 3 plus 5 times take out the 4, 2. So 5 times 2, 10, 7, and then 63. 63 can be broken down into what? 63, yeah, 9. Let's do 9. 3 root 7. And then minus 2, we're going to take out the 9, and then we have a 10. So we will have negative 6 root 10. So now we can take these, which becomes 0. They cancel out, so 10 minus 3, 7 root 7 is our final answer. Remember, collect the like terms. In this case, like terms is the radicals. Okay, simplify this first one. 12a, it's just 12a. 12 for those that skipped. 12a, it's 3 root 12 plus 2 root 48. And now we just have to simplify. So 3 times what? Root 4, which is 2, and then root 3, plus 2 4 root what? 3? Yeah. So this is going to give you 6 root 3 plus 8 root 3. That's going to give us 14 root 3. Simple. And then 2 B and C, I don't believe we need to practice on this. You can do that on your own. 13, I'm going to do B because that's pretty interesting. Well, it's pretty easy. So root 3 minus 4, since we have a radical in the bottom, we don't want that. No, we don't want that, so we're going to multiply by the what is it? I forgot what it's called. Now we're going to multiply by the conjugate, so we're going to have root 3 plus 4 over root 3 plus 4. That's going to go ahead and give us 3 root 3 plus 12 at the top. And on the bottom, we're going to have root 3, which is 3, and minus 16. It's going to give us a negative number, negative 13. And since that on the bottom and the top, there's no common factor available, So that is our final step, most simplified form. 14. Find the area of a rectangle with the sides. Okay, so basically, this is a little easy. 3 plus root 2, 3 minus root 2. So guys, grade 10 stuff, this is a difference of square. Look at the signs. So now we're going to basically FOIL like we usually do. 9, and then minus 3 root 2 plus 3 root 2, so that cancels out. And then minus 2 square root of 2 square root 2, so that's going to give us 2. Finally, 7. So remember, multiplying by the conjugates will give you a real definite value. That's why when we want to get rid of the radicals in the bottom, or get rid of it at the top, rationalizing the denominator or the numerator, we will always multiply by the conjugate, because that will give us a definite value, and then move it to the top or the bottom, depending on what you want. And then 815, I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do e, because why not? So 5 minus 4i over 2i. We usually want to get rid of it at the bottom, simply because, well, calculator work makes this super difficult to get to it at the bottom. 5i minus 4i squared over 2i squared. And now that is going to give us, so negative 4i squared is negative 1, so that's going to be plus 4, so 4 plus 5i, and at the bottom 2i squared is negative 1, so negative 2. And no common factoring, move the negative sign to the front, and we are done. So with that said, if you want me to break down a single question in this worksheet, go ahead, email me, whatever. As long as you need help, I will be here to help. And I will release the answer for this next, I will say, in the start of unit 3, which is the next video, or the next class. I'll see what I did wrong, and that's pretty much it for this class.